I am Morgan.
And I'm Jake, and this is
Neverland
Neverland Navigation Radio, where we get immersed in the most beautiful ambiance in all of Walt Disney World sit-down dining.
I look forward to your intros so much with my whole heart.
Thanks. I never know what they're going to be.
That's what makes it fun.
They are what they are.
I never know what they're going to be, so
Can
I'm
you
always
just
excited.
Well, yes. Gotta keep the people on their toes.
Yeah.
Can you describe what we're doing today?
Yeah, we are going to talk about Disney's restaurants that have the most amazing ambiance.
Yeah, this is exciting.
Yeah, we're gonna
This
go
is
park by park, right?
right.
Oh, did you do a Disney Springs when we did not talk about whether this counted?
Oh, Disney Springs. I didn't even consider Disney Springs, but
But you should have.
I bet we can
should
talk.
have.
I bet we can figure something
We
out.
will figure something.
Yeah, we'll tack it on to the end.
Yeah. I feel like it's such a good dining option that we should.
Oh, Disney Springs. Oh my gosh, there's so many restaurants.
I know.
Everything there is a restaurant or a shop.
Yeah, it's like mostly what it's about for us.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good point. We'll tack it on.
Okay.
Yeah. We on our YouTube channel, Neverland Navigation Co., do a ton of restaurant reviews. We're
That's
reviewing everything
Yeah.
at Walt Disney World. So we've tried a lot of stuff, really recently, and we're gonna talk about one of the main things that we judge the restaurants on, rate the restaurants on when we review, which is their ambiance.
Yes.
Merriam-Webster Dictionary.
Oh god.
Just kidding. Ambiance is just like how how your surroundings, how you experience stuff. We have some I think ambiance weighs probably more heavily on us in terms of whether or not we enjoy a meal than a lot of people. Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe.
You know? We really care about details and
yes,
colors and
true. But
lighting.
We also care more about the food than I think some tourists that are taking little kids and are really wanting them to meet princesses or whatever and just don't care whether they just want something to fill their stomach while their kids meet a princess.
Yeah,
so we care about a lot of things. But yes, you're right. I think for you and I, we're very detail oriented. Like we notice all the details in a restaurant.
Right. For sure. When we're talking about ambiance too, there's more that goes into it than just the theming. There's also any pumped in sounds, any music, any even how loud the building is,
Sure.
or the lighting or the view or all of that, I believe, really goes into how much you enjoy your meal.
Yeah. For me, I had immersiveness play a big part of my decisions. Did you?
Well, it seems natural. If we were doing restaurants anywhere in the world, then ambiance could only take you so far.
Right.
But because we're in the themed entertainment capital of these United States here with Walt Disney World, it seems that theming plays a pretty big part in the restaurant experience. So it is only fitting that immersion, these fabricated realities, are like a big part of what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Okay.
So immersion, it's going to play a part. I would say whether something that is the most immersive is the best themed is a conversation that'll be interesting to get into.
Okay.
Because there are some things that I would describe as highly immersive, but maybe not amazing ambiance, depending on the situation.
I can't wait to hear about this.
All right.
Because I feel like the ones that really, really immerse you have made the top of my list. But we'll see. We'll see. You might be able to talk me into taking it down,
Yeah, stay tuned. Listen along and we'll see what we've got in common and what we can discuss here. What park should we start in today, Morgan?
I don't know.
Let's get wild.
Okay.
Let's start in Hollywood.
Oh, okay.
Just go for it.
I assumed because you said let's get wild, we were starting in Animal Kingdom.
Oh my gosh, that's what we should have done. Too late now. Hooray for Hollywood.
Okay.
Hollywood Studios actually has a lot of good dining options.
Yeah.
People just don't know what to do.
Well, The quick serve is a little bit more of a challenge at Hollywood
You're right.
Studios.
I should clarify. Sit down restaurants.
Prior to the Star Wars area opening, I would say it was like a no go for quick serve for us. Like,
Slim pickings.
yeah,
Yeah.
didn't before the Star Wars area opened, we would like leave to go somewhere out of the parks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yikes.
That's how we would bring food in. We would bring food in with us because we didn't,
Yeah.
who wants to pay $20 for some crappy cheeseburger?
Right. Right.
You know, nobody.
Right.
So now they've got a little bit more of a unique array of things going on in the quick serve department, but their food variety is really anchored by these kind of standout sit down options that they have. I'm curious to hear which ones you've picked because I feel like there's a lot of options here.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of options. Do you want me to start with my what I think probably wins for me ambiance wise?
Okay.
Okay. I I am starting with sci-fi dine in,
Yeah.
which I said it that slow because I when we went there recently, I was like, surely it's drive-in.
Right.
Surely it's sci-fi drive-in because you sit in a car to eat.
Right. It's themed
It's
to a
not. It's
drive-in.
dine-in.
Yeah, it's dine-in. It's eating at the drive-in, so it's a double. They
Yeah.
went deep for that one.
So I love the ambiance at sci-fi because it's so immersive because you're watching the 50s movie clips and like I don't know, like the the night sky, the rolling Hollywood hills, like they just went all out with ambiance and immersive theming in this restaurant.
Something so great about sci-fi is that when they were recreating the environment of a drive-in, a bustling drive-in,
Hmm.
it's like it's a kind of a little bit of a rowdy, kind of fun atmosphere, outdoor atmosphere to begin with. So I feel like it translates really well to a theme park because there's a little noise going on while people are watching the movie, but that's how it is. That's
Yeah,
fun.
yeah,
They have car hops who bring you your food,
right,
which is quite in theme. The pickup, although you really wouldn't have that. You'd go to the snack bar. Here, the snack bar is the expediting stand.
right, right. You don't actually go to it, but
Right.
it looks cool.
Right. And they really, this is my pick as well, just
Oh, is it?
because they really nail the detail in the in the theming, but the ambiance is accomplished through the lighting in there.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
just right.
okay. Okay. So when you said lighting earlier, I was thinking you meant like dining table to dining table, which the lighting, as far as seeing your
Mm.
food in there, is a little poor.
It's actually they've got this interesting thing where they've got an LED strip
Yeah.
on like the dashboard or the kind of counter that's attached to the front of each spot where a
Right.
guest might sit.
Right.
And that gives you a little bit of room, but I like that they maintained the dark
Yes.
atmosphere
And
of the
I think that light.
drive-in.
I have heard this as a complaint, like, oh, it's too dark for me to eat.
Really?
Yes, but I disagree. I think it's too dark to take pictures of your food,
Yes.
but it's not too dark to. You still see what you're eating for sure.
Yeah, I had no
I didn't
problems.
either.
And I really liked that the movie kind of glowed,
Yes.
because when it's dark like that and there's little,
Yeah.
not as much light going on, then it really lets it do its thing in
Yes.
terms of looking like a flickering
And
old.
looking like it's night, even if it's day.
Yeah, and they accomplished that really well with the painting of things, the lighting of things as well. The sound in there is also glorious because it's pumped in through the speaker boxes that
Right.
you would
Right.
find at, well, there's speakers in what look like speaker boxes that you would find at your old drive-ins.
Right.
So it really goes the extra mile for like audio immersion too.
Yeah.
So big points there.
Yeah. The only place it would lose points for me, if this even counts, is the way that you're sat makes it difficult to share an appetizer. I mean, that is
Yeah.
such like I don't does that count as ambiance?
I mean,
Difficulty sharing?
it is definitely a big part of like your meal experience. I don't think of the things that we rate, kind of our
Yeah.
criteria, it would really fit in anywhere else. So I think it's worth mentioning
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
The configuration of the dining situation is a big part of your enjoyment of the meal,
Right.
and it is part of the layout of the restaurant. And it is a bit of a we often have said we wish these were just 2 bench cars and
Yeah.
not 3 bench
Well,
cars.
yeah, because we had to have a group with us. And I really felt more bad for them.
Yeah, because I mean, I
We had a party of 4, so
right.
it seats 6. So 2 people that we didn't know were sat behind us.
Right. Pretty typical family size. If a family needs 2 cars, a family needs 2 cars. That is what it is. I
Mhm.
feel like it's pretty easy to sit couples 2 by 2, and that feels very drive-in
Yeah,
like
right.
diner like. So I don't know. I think that is the one thing that does make it a little, can make it a little less comfortable
Yeah, for sure.
for people.
Especially if you're in the back, you're the couple that sat behind a family of 4 because
A
I
little awkward.
awkward, yeah.
Yeah.
And you would probably have a little bit of a harder time seeing.
Especially if you're tall like me. Well, and I'm in front of you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I get it.
If you're tall like me and I'm in the back, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you have an honorable mention for Hollywood Studios?
I did.
What did you
I've
do?
got two.
Oh,
The as the as far as sit down restaurants go, Hollywood Studios definitely does retro right. My other one is the 50s prime time
oh, okay.
because that one, while sci-fi transports you to a drive-in with car hops,
Hmm.
um, the 50s primetime diner really transports you into the world of home set turn of the century sitcoms.
Yeah, yeah.
It's part diner, part the inside of a house. You know what I mean? They kind of blend up the different sets that would go into
Yeah.
a sitcom like this. And the result are these really cool booths that are either centered around a TV, like an old school TV, or
Hmm.
they've got the classic countertops in there. The theming is just very decade appropriate. And I think that it provides a great atmosphere for the kind of meal that you're going to enjoy there because the classic American cooking,
Right.
from diner style,
Right.
goes hand in hand with the setup they've got in there. So I think it all
Yeah,
works.
I mean, down to your server basically being also kind of an actor.
Right.
More so than your server at Sci-Fi just calling themselves a car hop, but then just being a regular server.
Right.
The servers at prime time are like really acting like a 1950s aunt or uncle.
Right.
You know what I
They
mean?
play it up some.
Yeah, they're telling you to get your elbows off the table and whatnot, and I think that
Yeah.
that really adds to the ambiance.
It does. It's a big part of like making you feel like you're doing something special.
Oh yeah,
Because, you can go get food anywhere, but if there's that extra level of something, whether it's just the ambiance or the like performance, quote unquote, of your server, those little things all add up to making something unforgettable.
yeah, yeah,
I think you
yeah.
could get that there.
Right. I do love the inside of there with the little TVs and the colors that they use. Just so 50s.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're really there.
right, it really does it right. What
Yeah.
what did you have an honorable
Yeah,
mention?
I put Mama Melrose.
Yeah.
I really, really love the like old school New York Italian
Hmm.
restaurant with the stuff everywhere. Just
Yeah.
like stuff plastered all over the walls. The string lights going all over the ceiling, which string lights make me happy.
Yeah, it's nice. It makes for a nice atmosphere for sure.
Right.
It's got your classic Italian restaurant themings like bottles of wine and olive oil in the ceiling,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. But it also has some cool details like Italian language posters of Disney movies
Right.
on the brick walls in there. That makes for some interesting eye candy for you to consume while you're eating your food. I love it in there.
I really do
I
too.
also love it's a little um it the tables are kind of close together, but if you get a booth or even if you get kind of a table in the middle, you do feel a level of like seclusion.
Oh yeah, you
It's
think?
nice. I think the booth situation
Yeah.
really helps with making you feel because it's a round booth. So it makes you feel a little bit more like you're, just with your party there.
Right.
That's important,
Yeah, yeah,
That's nice.
yeah. I feel like that one does a really good job of transporting me
Yeah, for sure. It definitely feels
out of the
different.
hustle and bustle of Hollywood studios. Yeah. But so you had another one.
I was also gonna give an honorable mention to the docking
I
bay.
would as well.
For as far as quick serves go, this is like off the charts for theming.
Yeah. This is the quick serve. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? In Hollywood studios.
it is counter service. You go and you select from a menu of. It's almost the menu. I would say is almost comparable to maybe like you're ordering basically bowls of stuff or plates of stuff that are like a chicken and a vegetable, and it's a little bit more of like a classic hearty meal than like a burger and fries type of situation.
Wait, are you saying you've gotten something there other than a Ronto wrap?
Yeah, because Ronto wraps aren't usually there.
Well, they always move them over there. Every time I go, they've moved them over
The
there.
one time I went and it didn't have a Ronto wrap, it was sad.
Yeah.
I didn't.
I get that they're not intended to be there, but they just always are when I go. I don't know if that's a coincidence.
It's the best thing that can happen because
Yeah.
that's the best thing you can order, in my
Right.
opinion. I liked my spicy chicken that I got there, but it was really spicy. I was surprised.
I tried the Ronto wrap, fell in love with it, and then haven't gotten anything else since. Like
Yeah,
that's how I feel
yeah.
about
The only
it.
reason I ordered anything different is because I couldn't get it there.
Yeah, if we go and review it, we'll have to try different things. But like, yeah, the Ronto wrap, even the breakfast Ronto wrap is good.
Yeah, right. Ronto wrap is the way to go. But as far as theming goes,
Okay, yeah,
as
sorry.
far as like, no, you're good. It's
That's where I get
impossible
my
not to
Ronto
talk
wrap.
about it. As far as ambiance goes, it's cool because you are in this enclosed environment. It is very Star Wars, down to they've got some like creatures and jars and stuff in there and cool stuff like that going on. Some fog effects and mason type jars and stuff. They've just got like the little
Yeah,
details, or
all the details.
they really add up to making you feel like you're on another planet, and the food matches the environment,
Yeah,
so that, it's impossible to talk about immersion or good theming at these restaurants and not bring it up because it's so outstanding for a quick serve.
yeah, and they really needed it, so I was happy.
Yeah, it's really cool that Star Wars ended up getting a good restaurant, even if it's just a quick serve.
And it was a nervous. The menu made me nervous to begin with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It seemed too crazy.
Yeah, it does. It might be a little intimidating for people who are comfort food reliant, or
Right.
people who might not even just want to take a gamble on whether or not all these spices and stuff are
Right.
going to go
Because
together.
the Rancho wrap has spices and like I'm sure everything else. I think I've gotten a dessert there that was really pretty and
Ooh,
was also good, but I can't remember what it was called, so I won't go into it. But when we review, we'll have to try it again.
docking bay is good.
Yeah. All right. So, do you want to go to Animal Kingdom?
Yeah, let's get wild.
Let's
Is it too late? Is it too late?
No, it worked.
Oh,
What else are you
good.
gonna say?
Nothing.
I
Just
got
that.
nothing. I
Just
got
that.
nothing. Animal Kingdom was by far the hardest for me.
Really?
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
because like immersion wise, they have Rainforest Cafe, but I dislike Rainforest Cafe enough that it didn't make my list.
But not only that, like the immersive quality of Rainforest Cafe is really
Dated.
undercut by how like dated and not functioning some
Mm-hmm.
of the stuff. It's not even a contender
Yeah, we would advise against Rainforest Cafe.
in general.
So, do you want to do yours first, or do you want me to do mine?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Mine is kind of a wild card, because
No
there's
pun intended.
no pun intended for sure.
Pun intended.
For this list goes because it's the only quick serve that I have that like won. You know what I mean? That is my
Yeah.
number one at the
Okay.
park. I just really like the story of Satuli Canteen.
Yeah, it's an amazing story.
I think it's really cool that they put so much thought into a quick serve location like Docking Bay, like this.
Right.
And I think it's another one where, although I will say, this is probably the least visually interesting one on my list, because when you get in there, you can appreciate the woven artifacts and theming that's going on, but it is up against a lot of really cold gray and a lot of spacey colors.
You really have to know the story to appreciate the ambiance of this one. And
Yeah.
when we were doing the review of this restaurant, Jake was telling the story, and I was like, "Are you making this up?"
No.
Because it's so kind of crazy.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna cite this to the best of my ability. I
Yeah,
don't
go ahead.
remember all the details,
Right,
but
right.
from what I remember, also I haven't seen the movie Avatar in its entirety, so like I am not a good source for this.
Okay.
So everybody Google. But from what I read, what I've been told, the whole idea was of first of all of Pandora is that you're visiting the planet in a time where it has been reclaimed after it was kind of taken over by this occupying corporation trying to extract the natural resources. So now that it's been reclaimed by the Na'vi, they've taken these spaces that were set up by this company, kind of these bases
Right,
where they would kind of conduct their operations. And they turned the mess hall from that into this gathering place
right.
where they feed all of the people with their home food
So
cuisine.
they took something that was kind of military in look
Yes.
and turned it into their own.
Yes, and the weaving thing, the like fiber weaving that is all over Pandora. The queue signage is even made of these like woven tapestries. There's a bunch of them in there too to kind of help to tell the story that they took what was cold, they took what was steel, and they turned it into something intricate and cultural and beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
That's cool.
It's a cool story.
For a quick serve?
I Yeah, that's the reason I didn't believe you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because quick serves generally don't get that kind of backstory. This is like,
No.
whoa.
Yeah, super next level. I mean, it makes sense because Pandora as a land, every inch of it is really
Yeah,
detail oriented, story thought out, everything adds up. So it makes sense that they wanted to keep this area up to those standards, and I appreciate them for going the extra
yeah,
mile.
and the food's good. It's thrilling to me that they would put so much backstory into a quick serve because
Yeah.
a lot of times they'll feel like a afterthought. Like,
Yes.
oh, they're gonna need somewhere to eat in Tomorrowland. Let's throw this thing in.
A
You know what I mean?
necessity.
Yeah,
Yeah, and they are, they are. These are the most visited restaurants at Walt Disney World.
right,
The quick serves are way more popular than the sit downs, almost entirely.
right.
So it's really unfortunate that that often results in guests having an under themed or under quality experience,
Yeah,
but they will have both
at this. Yeah,
quality and good theming at the Setsuya
right, right.
Canteen. So hey, that's nice.
That is nice.
Yeah.
Mine at Animal Kingdom is Yak and Yeti, which is
Yeah.
my favorite Animal Kingdom restaurant.
Ooh, ooh.
Yeah, this one's not owned by Disney. It's owned by Landry's, which owns Rainforest Cafe. So shocker that I love it.
Usually kind of a red flag.
Yeah, usually a red flag, but this restaurant is great. If you like ahi nachos, that's the thing to get.
So
But
I've
that's not
heard.
what we're talking about right now. The ambiance. So this is my least favorite of the ones that I've listed,
Okay.
like by a lot, because it's
Wow.
not that immersive. You know what I
Gotcha.
mean? But there aren't that many great options at Animal Kingdom. Animal Kingdom is in need of a super immersive, I feel like,
Sit
restaurant.
down.
And they
Okay.
don't have one right now, in my opinion.
They should put one under the Tree of Life.
Yeah,
They need to get rid of that Bugs Life nonsense they've got going on down
yeah,
there.
yeah. That would be a great spot.
I don't
Um,
care if they cook the bugs. Let's
oh
eat
God.
them. You know how people in different cultures eat ants and stuff?
Yeah.
Hey, listen.
Would you?
That'd be I'd rather do that than watch it stuff
I
to be a
would
bug.
too. I think.
All right.
Ugh.
Okay.
Yeah, crazy. Yak and Yeti
What is
is
the ambiance like at Yak and Yeti?
it's just kind of got a fun Asian inspired theming. It's 2 floors. Every area is a little different. Does that make
Oh,
sense?
cool.
The food is Asian fusion.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's just a kind of a cool, fun theme. And in certain sections, you can also have a little bit of a view of the park.
Cool.
So I'm not going to go on and on about it because it's not in another park. There's no way it'd make my list.
Gotcha.
In a couple of the other parks, like when we get to Epcot, I was like losing it over trying to pick one.
Yeah, if there's one thing
Um,
they do, it's,
yeah, but at Animal
theming.
Kingdom, it was a little bit of the opposite problem
Yeah,
where I was like, this is good ambiance, but
which makes no
normally,
sense. Honestly,
yeah,
the only reason that it is like that is because there's nowhere to eat there.
right.
If they had a bunch of restaurants, I'm sure they'd be great.
I mean, I would for sure have picked Sanaa at Animal Kingdom Lodge over this because you've got an actual view of animals.
Yeah, that's
Remember
pretty
how cool
cool.
that was?
That was awesome.
And I'm kind of surprised there's not a restaurant overlooking the kind of Kilimanjaro Safari area. You
Mm.
know what I mean?
Yeah, it feels like a no-brainer.
It does feel like a no-brainer. I know in Busch Gardens they have something like that.
The
So
Serengeti Overlook.
that's it.
Hmm.
Yeah. So surprising that they haven't done that. But
Right, very surprising. I think that would be something guests would pay top dollar for.
I would think so too. Maybe the issue is that they can't guarantee it, but I mean that they can say
Hasn't
that.
stopped them
I
before.
know, I
Yeah,
know. Yeah. Anyway. So that's it for Animal Kingdom for me.
cool. Me too.
I like the ambiance of the little carts, to be honest with you. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, all the little food
Yeah,
stands.
but that seems ridiculous to even mention
My
here.
honest answer, I guess, is that ice cream truck in Asia. I talk about it all the time because I
Yeah,
think it's so cool.
yeah,
It's painted in these beautiful little like murals and stuff on it.
right.
I love it every time I see it.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay, so to one of the harder to choose
let's
ones.
go to Magic Kingdom
Okay.
because Epcot is really the grand finale because there's so much to choose
Well, then
from.
when okay, I did pick one for Disney Springs.
Oh, cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll
So
tack that on.
okay, at the end.
Yeah,
Okay,
sure. Okay, so here we are in Magic Kingdom.
I
So
had a hard time with this. Did you
I
have a hard time with this?
I did too. It's tough. There's a lot of factors that go into why I chose what I chose. I chose Be Our Guest.
Okay, that's what that is what I have written as of right now as well.
Okay.
Because I
Um,
have two runners up, and I really had a hard
what are
time.
your runners up?
Cinderella's Royal Table
Uh-huh,
and
same.
Skipper's Canteen.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really tight. It's really tight. Honestly, for me, it was between Be Our Guest and Skipper Canteen.
Mhm.
Cinderella Royal Table, it's pretty in there.
It's pretty and it's got a view.
And the view is really what makes it. And the fact that you're in the castle, this in almost intangible thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like your experience. It's an experience.
Yeah, right, right.
It's like going up in the elevator for Space 220 at Epcot, except it's real. You're actually in the castle. Like,
Right,
it's
right.
crazy. So that is priceless. But
Just the thought of it is amazing.
yes, but as far as like the arrangement of the tables and the
Yeah,
the actual
right.
experience of eating in there, it's not what you might think it might be.
My the ones that I had a harder time picking between my number one was Be Our Guest and Skipper's Canteen because Be Our Guest is just jaw-droppingly beautiful.
Yes.
But and the West Wing's amazing. But I love love the history that they kind of in the backstory that they threw into
Right.
Skipper's Canteen.
Toss up. Well, why don't you do you which I'll let you decide which one you want to describe. I'll describe the other.
Are you sure?
Yep.
Okay. Um, I will describe Be Our Guest then.
Okay.
Be Our Guest has 3 rooms. It even like the waiting area. If you wander off to where they've got these knights
Mm-hmm.
that like talk, that's kind of fun.
Oh yeah, so you were talking about it's by where they used to have the quick serve kiosks.
Yes, and I was going to mention that, but I don't want to start complaining right off the bat. But so it used to be half quick serve, like breakfast and lunch was quick serve, and night was a sit down dinner. Now it's just all sit down dinner, and that's something I could complain about, but I'm not going to get into it.
Well, we miss it. That's all.
We miss it, yeah. So those nights over there are cool. When you first walk in, the first huge room is the huge grand ballroom from the movie.
Yes.
And I mean, it's got the chandeliers. They went all out on the putting you in the movie in that room.
Yes.
Then there's a smaller room to the left, which is the West Wing. Again, all out putting you into the movie. You see the rose. It's dark in there. The rose is dropping like a petal every once in a while. You see the portrait of the prince, and then sometimes lightning will go and you'll see it flicker change to the beast, and there'll be like claw marks on it.
Dinner and a show.
Yes, yes, super super immersive. I love that room.
Yeah.
And then the third room that's to the right of the ballroom, that one not quite as amazing, but still beautiful. It has like a statue of Beauty and the Beast that kind of moves like they're dancing, and then portraits, giant portraits that have different like scenes from the movie.
Right.
So that one's not like you're in the movie, but the
It's a
first two are.
celebration of the movie.
Yes.
Interesting. Yeah, Be Our Guest, like, oh man, talk about, I mean, first of all, you walk into a castle
Right.
or underneath a castle.
Oh, and in that grand ballroom, it's snowing all the time.
Yeah, I would say the most
There's
impressive
screens.
thing about the ambiance is that huge wall at the back
Yeah.
of the restaurant that outlooks like a snowy scene, winter scene.
Especially gorgeous during Christmas when they put up a Christmas tree.
Uh,
That it's a Christmas tree from the Christmas special they did.
Belle's Enchanted Wish.
I knew you would know the name. I didn't know the name. Yeah, because then you've got the snow and the Christmas tree, and it's like,
Yeah, that wall is so impressive. It's like a huge video wall.
yeah.
Really cool.
And that the stuff that changes in the West Wing,
Mhm.
also amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could just hang out in there.
Yeah,
You know?
seriously. A lot of cool effects.
Yes.
Very nice. And then the other option, also great immersive theming, is at Jungle Navigation Co. Skipper Canteen, which is the Jungle Cruise themed restaurant at Magic Kingdom in Adventureland. This one, well, actually, it's funny. You described all of that, but I think you know the backstory of the Jungle Navigation thing better than me.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I
No,
think you do.
no, you're good. Would you describe what the backstory is?
Yes. So when you're on Jungle Cruise, sorry, there's a part where one of the jokes that they say is, we're now going by, and don't quote me because I'm not gonna be able to even say this anywhere nearly as funny or eloquently as they do. But you're going by the waterfall, and they're like, this waterfall was named after,
They call it what? Schweitzer Falls.
yeah,
Named after the
Doctor Great. Oh yeah, named after the great Doctor Albert Falls.
Right.
Right. So you think it's going to be Albert Schweitzer, right? And it's Albert Falls, which is funny.
It is quite funny.
Yeah.
If you can catch it.
Right,
Yes.
right. So it's, I'm really worried I'm going to mess this up. So it's his daughter or granddaughter
Uh-huh.
that takes over what was an area. This is such an elaborate backstory. The restaurant was supposed to be like a place where the Jungle Cruise, like they stopped, and that was where they had meetings and stuff like that. And the backstory goes further back if you want to get into the what's it called?
Society of
Yeah.
Explorers and Adventurers.
But I'm not going to go into all that because we could do a whole podcast on that.
And one day we will.
And one day we will. But so Alberta Falls, takes what was a area that the Jungle Cruise people like came to like have their break and stuff like that, and turned it into a restaurant.
Yes.
So now it's got all of like artifacts the different skippers brought back from their adventures. You can see that stuff where they've had meetings, like kind of like paperwork and stuff like that. There's like a library of books, and every single title is something that's referencing something.
Yeah.
Like everything is so, I don't know. And then your servers are Jungle Cruise skippers that are, serving.
In their
They're not
humorous
really,
way.
but yeah.
They're your skipper servers. Thank you for describing that.
I don't think I did a good job.
No, I think you did a better job than I would have, because it's just such a detailed situation.
Yeah.
I would describe the mood in here as like eclectic, almost like it's very adventure-y. I don't know what to tell you.
It's very, Jungle cruisy.
Yeah, it's right. It's really nailed the aesthetic they were going for in there. I love the collection of artifacts from the trips. I love they've got like butterflies. They've got all kinds of really cool things on the walls,
Right.
maps and
Yeah.
pictures and scrolls, and it's really every chance I get to go in there and just look around,
Right.
I
Every
really
every little
appreciate.
thing is a detail that they thought about to put that had something to do with his backstory.
Yeah, and the food is appropriately, a little
Amazing and
more
adventurous.
adventurous,
Hmm.
which I think really works. The menu really has a sense of humor. So I think all of those things come together to make for like a very jovial ambiance. But you feel a little fancy when you're there too, because it's almost like, how they call it like the exotic jungle cruise
Yeah.
with all the world's finest attractions. This feels like the world's finest,
Right.
kind
Right.
of collection of humorous eats.
Yeah,
I like it.
absolutely.
I
I
like
like
it.
it too. I like all the details. I like the ridiculous backstory. Yeah,
Yeah, I've got a reservation coming up and I cannot wait. I'm so
yeah, that's
excited.
awesome.
Yes,
Are we
yes,
on
yes.
Epcot now or
I think the time has come. We're gonna broach it. We're gonna go into the experimental prototype community of tomorrow, and we're gonna decide. We're gonna make some decisions. I have three. I have one definitive, thing, but I've got three that I could name. Should I go through some runners up?
uh yeah, yeah.
Okay, my runners up. The first one I'll say because it's a little bit less of a surprise. Beer garden is what
Oh,
I have on here.
that's really smart because that is legit dinner in a show.
Yes, and also super well themed and very
Yes.
immersive.
Yes.
Um, Beer Garden is like this beautiful German scene where you go and you dance with the people who play the lute and stuff, and they put
Yeah.
on a little show for you. Um, it is now the one thing that I don't love about this, if we're talking about seating arrangement, is that you are very often sat with people of another party. So if that's something
Yeah.
that is not your thing, that happens here. Uh,
Yeah, I wonder if they went back to that because they stopped doing it
right.
after COVID.
Mhm.
And the last time I went there, they still weren't doing it, even though it was post vaccine. But anyway,
As a rule,
I
that's how it's
I
been.
am
Yeah.
not a fan of being forced to small talk with other people while I'm trying to eat like 5 plates of food because it's a
And
buffet.
yes, not only that, and also like at a theme park. This is your reprieve from crowds and others and
Yeah,
stuff. So I really enjoy my, minute with my party there. So yeah, it can be a little rough.
I just think it's a gamble.
Yeah.
I have met people at Disney that I could talk to for hours,
Yes.
but it might not be. It might not be somebody that you're interested in talking to. We were sat by somebody that was wildly drunk out of their mind once, because it's Epcot and people do that.
Mm.
And that was so uncomfortable.
Yeah, it really makes you feel like you've
It
got to
was just
hold the
one
whole
of the
thing
two
together.
people, yeah, that
Ugh.
were really drunk and clearly embarrassing for the other person. And
That is so uncomfortable.
yeah,
But I love this restaurant.
I do too. I do too. The show is great. The music's fun. I'm not a big get up and do the chicken dance kind of girl, but if you'd like that.
Yeah, if that's your thing.
But
I'm
it's like a town in there.
Yes, I'm always enchanted by the fact that it's like multiple buildings inside of one little room.
I love it when they do that, and they do it a
Yeah, and they're
lot.
good at it. It's so
Yeah.
nice. All right.
So that's a good. That was an honorable mention. Do you want me to name an honorable mention?
Yes,
Oh, I'm worried. What if it's your?
that's
Okay.
fine.
All right. Well, actually, this is like an honorable mention. Like it's like fourth on anyway.
Whoa, what if this is my number one? That'd be
There's
crazy.
no way.
Okay.
I don't even think you've been there.
Oh,
Coral Reef.
no, I haven't.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So it's a it's just really pretty in there. It's a giant aquarium.
Yeah.
I'm not really the type to go hang out in an aquarium and just watch fish, but while you're just sitting there waiting on your food to come, it's fun.
How upset are you by eating fish in front of fish?
It's weird. It's
Yeah.
weird, and that's mostly what they serve.
Right.
They have some non-fish options, but I have heard people say that was too weird for them.
I don't think I could do it. I think it would make me uncomfortable. I'm not joking. I don't know what it is, and I know that like they can't even
They can't
understand
process
that
what's
I'm
happening.
eating a fish.
Uh-huh.
They probably can't even process that I'm here in a restaurant. You know what I mean? Like they don't they don't know what the hell is up.
You could
But
not order fish too.
yeah, but I wouldn't order fish
Yeah, I know.
just because like you know,
Oh,
it would
because
be
it'd be too, but you
weird.
don't like fish.
Well, yeah, but I still order it sometimes
That's
just
true.
to try stuff.
That's true. Yeah, it is weird. It is a weird element to it.
Yeah.
And honestly, I've been there twice in the last like 10 years, and both times I was underwhelmed by the food, but the ambiance is really gorgeous. And it's not just the aquarium, they also use a lot of like blue mosaic tile
Hmm.
in their decor. And I kind of obsessively love mosaic tile and decorating, and this blue that they use is gorgeous.
It's also mosaics are so old school Epcot.
Yeah, I
They
know, right?
love a mosaic.
Like those mosaics outside of the land.
Yes,
So iconic.
beautiful.
Yeah.
They also had a beautiful fountain in the land pavilion back in the day that was kind of like piece mosaic like that,
Yeah.
and it was really pretty. That's gone now, but
The restaurant is also in like stadium type
oh
tiers.
yes, it's raked the floor.
I Thank you. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
how cool that they thought about your view.
Extra thought into the planning.
I wish they would do that more often
Yeah, that's a
because
really good point.
a lot of restaurants have great views,
Hmm.
but you can't see if you're not right there.
And it's only a good view for like half your party then.
Yeah.
It's not, it's not for everyone.
Yeah. So whoever designed that building, smart.
I'm glad that's on your list. I'm glad that's on your list because it's not one that I would have thought about, but the theming in there is,
Yeah.
second to none.
Yeah, it really is.
Yep.
What's your next? You have another honorable mention?
I have an honorable mention that I'm almost sure is your number one. So
Okay.
whose number one should go first?
Well, how many do you have? Just an honorable mention in your number one?
Yeah.
Okay, well then let me name another honorable mention.
Cool.
I mean, yeah, I'm just gonna do it. I don't think it would be one of yours then.
Go ahead.
The San Angelo Inn.
That's my number one.
Shut up.
That's my number one.
Really?
I love it in there.
So you left off Garden Grill completely.
Yeah.
But it's rotating.
I love it. I love Garden Grill, but I also love Beer Garden, and I also love this.
Okay. Well, then let's talk about Garden Grill since it didn't make your list at all.
Yeah, this definitely would be kind of an honorable mention. For
Yeah,
me,
I think it's worth mentioning.
even
Because
just for the
how often
novelty.
do you do a rotating restaurant?
Or one that overlooks a ride.
Yeah,
you know,
classic characters in different costumes.
It's got a lot going.
It does. It does. It is very. Is dated the right word?
Yeah.
Ugh. God, that makes me sad.
That is the only thing that kept it off of my list. Is that when you're on it, it does just feel like it was built when it was built.
So if you haven't been though, you get sat somewhere again with the tiered like seating so that you've got a view either way.
Right.
And let's say you start and your view is of a farm. Then you slowly rotate, like you don't even know you're rotating. So it doesn't need to be something that you are thinking, oh, I'm gonna get sick or motion sick or something like that. But you go from like farm to desert.
Desert, yeah.
Right? Desert.
The arid landscape.
What else is
Rainforest.
Yeah, is that part of it?
Yes.
Okay. I know that's part of the land, the ride.
I think you can kind of see the rainforest from the restaurant.
Yeah. Anyway, there's a few different
you can.
Like naturescapes.
Yes. Yeah, and they make for good eating background too.
Yes, and it's different all the time. And then you're being, let's just say, bombarded by characters.
Oh yeah, they do come.
I feel like there's less tables at Garden Grill, so you're like character.
Right.
Character.
I almost wish there was like a no character time.
Well, or we've seen them also, so they can pass us now.
Yeah.
And I know they do sometimes.
Yes.
But sometimes they don't. And
yeah, as someone who's not there primarily for characters,
right, same.
For me, it gets to be a little much.
I'd love to see them when we're waiting on our food.
Yes.
But then when the food comes, be done.
Right.
But, our opinion on this is going to be pretty wildly different than most people that are coming on vacation and are bringing like kids.
Of course.
Yeah.
And it's great that there is an offering like that for them.
Right. But it would be cool if there were options. But anyway.
Yeah.
So now we can talk about your number one or my
sure.
number one.
Why don't you? Well, I'll start. I don't have a ton to say because it's pretty straightforward. In World Showcase is the Mexico Pavilion. Inside the Mexico Pavilion, they've themed it, wouldn't you know it, to look like a beautiful Mexican town square.
Uh-huh.
They've got this wonderful village of shopping kiosks and stuff toward the front. They've got the nighttime sky overhead. And then at the back of the pavilion, they've got this beautiful ancient Mexican backdrop of like a huge pyramid and a head, an Olmec head, and they've got like this beautiful night backdrop.
The night backdrop with the stars is like the best part of it.
Yes,
Oh, and the volcano.
right, and right in kind of the in a big volcano,
Yeah.
and a
And it's
ride,
smoking.
and the ride passes
Right,
through. You know, there's a body of water. So all of that is right around. This restaurant is kind of right at the heart of that. It is behind the shops and right in front of the ride.
Right.
So you get this great view into the ride, depending on where you're sitting, or this beautiful view of the town and the pavilion. So it's great views everywhere. The smell of the ride, pretty great. You get some boat ride. It's not as strong in this one as it would be in like It's a Small World, but or Pirates is probably the main one. But
Gotta wonder why. You'd think they'd have the same amount of bromine in the water.
I don't know. Maybe it's because it's a bigger building, so there's more, places for
Yeah.
the smell to go. Also, there's a lot of food going on, so the scents might just be. They also sell like incense and stuff. There's a lot of smell going on in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, you're right.
So maybe that's it. It might just be more diluted, but it's really cool. It is a little dark. That's my only kind of ding on it. Is it like I don't mind dark. I appreciate that it's dark because it's supposed to be dark in there. But it's like sometimes too dark for you to even see what's in front of you in there.
You think?
A little.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right.
Because if you
Well,
drop
I mean,
something on the floor in there, you cannot pick it up. It is
Mm.
dark enough that you cannot see the
Well,
ground.
you would need your flashlight for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they've got the candles on the table,
Yeah, I
so you
like
can
it.
see your. Yeah, it's romantic.
Yes, for me, it's perfect. But for considering everyone, like small children, people with visibility problems, it could be a little treacherous, just because it's darker than your typical restaurant.
Right.
But it is nice. I do love the theming, and I do love that it's like a traditional, like white tablecloth, nice chairs. It's like a traditional restaurant with this gorgeous themed view.
It is beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I wish the tables were spread out a little bit more, and I wish that you had.
Yes.
Now I'm gonna wish that there was tiered. Now that we've mentioned this, I'm gonna wish there was tiered seating everywhere we went.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway,
All right. So what's your number one?
my number one is Space 220.
Yes.
New restaurant. I love the ambiance. You are in space.
Yeah.
So the elevator up there is like a ride in and of itself, I feel like.
Yeah.
You're like standing around, they're making it seem like you're about to take an elevator that goes up this ginormous
Arm.
that attaches to the space station.
Right.
And it's going to go at this ridiculously high speed, and you're going to slowly see Earth go further and further away, and they really pull it off.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's pretty cool. It's like a restaurant with a pre-show.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So there's a screen kind of below you and a screen above you, so it's just getting there is immersive. Then when you get in there, like
Cool.
full on, you're surrounded by screens that make it seem like you're in space.
Yeah.
You're in a space station. To me, it doesn't get better than that as far as ambiance.
It's a cool idea. I think the immersion of the whole elevator situation is almost like what they did with Magic Kingdom. I have to take a monorail to get there. It really does make you feel like you're somewhere else.
Yeah, okay.
It really adds to the immersion nicely.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
And I don't even know where, I've got an idea about the restaurant being behind Mission Space, but like, is it flat on the ground? Did we not move at all? Or is it down a level? Is it up a level? We did move like one floor. It's interesting because you don't even know.
Yeah, I don't think you move like vertically, but I also am not 100% sure.
Yeah.
It is cool that you are kind of the way that there are no windows or anything, you like forget how long you're in there too.
Yeah.
It's really it's
Very
like a
Vegas.
casino.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really is. As far as the screens go, as I was eating here, my appreciation for the screens did degrade a little over time.
Okay.
They lost their novelty a little bit for me, and the restaurant really depends on the screens.
Okay.
You know, without the screens, that you wouldn't even know what was going on in there really. It's just like a very modern, like very nicely themed. It's very clean and like modern lines, and it's very pretty in there.
Mhm.
But the space all comes from the screens, and the loops on the screens aren't terribly long, so you can see the same stuff sometimes. Not that that's a huge complaint of mine. I think overall the effect of this is really, really immersive in a way that it only makes sense to be on this list.
Yeah. Do you feel like the cost took away from your appreciation of the screens?
I do.
It's a high cost,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
expect like mind blowing stuff for the
for that
money I
much
paid.
amount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And listen, like as far as being transported, I was kind of mind blown. But the actual experience of sitting in that room,
Mhm.
paying that much for that food,
Right.
and then enjoying what I enjoyed, I think it'd be a lot cooler if there was like an alien bartender or a robot
Yeah,
something,
yeah.
or like a static electricity sculpture in the middle, or test tubes, or
Sure.
I just wanted one more thing.
Yeah,
One
yeah.
more thing to take it over the
And you
top.
know they could do that robotic bartender thing because they have one on the Royal Caribbean cruise ships.
They practically did that in Interventions. They had these robot arms that would play instruments and pour vials into other vials and
Yeah.
stuff. It was cool. So I know they can do it.
Right.
But yeah, I think overall it does achieve what it sets out to achieve,
Yeah.
which is making you feel like you are dining in space.
Right.
Absolutely does that.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's amazing. I didn't get sick of the screens, but I probably wasn't looking as closely. I feel like this is something where your background as like a graphic designer and like that might have played into it a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And that may not impact your perception of this restaurant nearly as much, which I absolutely envy because as far as being whisked away onto another space station or whatever, I totally felt the effect of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, as far as picking where to eat, I also tend to lean a little bit more toward the old school physically built sets.
Hmm.
That's why I like sci-fi so much.
Right.
It's because all the details are physical, which is really
Got it.
cool. In
Oh
San
yeah,
Angel,
you've
you
said this
get
a bunch
all
about the
of
screens.
yeah. In San Angel, like seeing
Hmm.
all of those big, beautiful sets and the town and the stars in the sky, it all amounts to something that is very classic Disney for me that I really appreciate. Space 220 kind of gets you there,
Yeah.
but the screens are a little bit of a crutch. A little bit.
So how did they do the stars in San Angel?
They're just lights on the ceiling,
Okay,
I believe.
like pinpoint lights.
I think so.
Okay, I was just curious. I wasn't like
Yeah.
saying I thought it was a screen. I don't. But yeah,
Yeah. And that's yeah. I think that Space 220 is cool though. I think that honestly, it probably does a better job of making you feel like you're in space than some of the rides
yeah, I agree.
do. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
because the imagination of the space capsule thing that gets you there, it totally between the sound, the vibration of the platform,
right.
there are moving lights that go all around you as you ascend each tier
Yeah,
of
it's
the
pretty
arm.
amazing.
It like there's a lot of thought in there,
Yeah,
there's a lot of detail in there. I also love something we haven't even talked about. When you're first walking in, if you look to the left, there's like this wheel of vegetables and
yeah,
stuff, this
yeah. That's true.
rotating, and it's so futuristic and cool. It
Hmm.
reminds me of Horizons.
Yeah, that makes sense. It reminds me a bit of the part in the queue of Mission Space where
Right.
there's the wheel kind of showing you what it's like on a space shuttle.
Right. Yeah, that gravity wheel
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, it is futuristic. I mean, I think even the bathrooms were kind of futuristic. I don't know if you went in the
Yeah, they
bathroom.
play like spacey music and
They play like somebody talking over the speaker about I don't know, something that makes you feel like you're there. I can't
yeah,
remember
it's like
specifically what they
report to
said.
your
Yes,
spaceport for your scheduled departure or
exactly,
something.
exactly.
It's some language like that, and
So I
Disney
feel
does
like,
that so well.
yeah, in some ways they did try in addition to the screens. This is another one that's not owned by Disney, which surprises me that they are even letting another company You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I know all of the restaurants at World Showcase aren't owned by Disney, but this one really surprised me because I thought if it was going to be essentially half ride, half restaurant,
right.
that Disney was going to do it.
It does, like, the concept seems very up Disney's alley. And here's the deal: I think if Disney would have designed it, I think I would love it even more.
Yeah.
I think it'd be my number one because they go the extra mile to think, how can I make this over the top?
More.
You
Yeah.
know,
Right.
this was a good execution of the base idea, and Disney always finds the way to turn the details up.
They probably would have done something more creative than a Milky Way cocktail where you got an actual Milky Way.
Oh, right.
That was like a pun
It
cocktail.
was a little bit of like a wah wah. Although,
It was
hey,
like a snack size Milky Way.
I'm never gonna turn down a fun size Milky Way. So I wasn't even that mad.
No, it was cute.
It was pretty cute. I actually think the food there was pretty good.
Oh, it was good.
Just gotta know what to order.
Yeah.
Those buffalo cauliflower things. Ooh, so good.
With blue cheese dust or something like
Yeah.
moon. I don't know. They did some play on words with the theming.
All right, Morgan. We've got like 5 minutes left in this episode. Do you want to give the people of Disney Springs?
Sure. Do you have one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe they're the same. I would say that the best ambiance in Disney Springs for me would be the Edison.
Yeah.
Is that what you put?
I think it's a tie
Oh.
in my book. The Edison would be my personal choice because, listen, the show, it's right up my alley.
Yeah.
I love performance theater. Wow. I love like dinner theater. I think that's a super cool way to eat. The tie for this, and it depends on if you like seafood, would be paddlefish because the novelty of eating on that boat is pretty cool.
Sure.
You know.
The time I went to paddlefish, we got a table that wasn't near the edge, and I feel like it really made it feel like we were in a regular restaurant.
Oh no. Yeah. Oh yeah, I see how that could be a problem.
I'm just saying, like, it just really.
If they had tiered seating.
I'm telling you.
On that boat, put tiered seating on that boat.
They could do it.
Yeah. Well, hey, if anyone can.
Yeah.
No, I hear what you mean. That's like everybody else can see the fireworks and you can't. You know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
That sucks. Yeah, but the other one, what did we say?
The Edison.
Oh my gosh, the Edison. That one is like details.
So many details.
It's like a speakeasy.
Yes.
It's like a turn of the 1920s.
Yeah.
Great Gatsby, underground.
Yes.
Speakeasy.
Yes, and the servers and what they're wearing and all of the decor and down to the tables and chairs, which weren't the chairs we sat at weren't comfortable, but they were very, very in theme.
Period appropriate.
Yeah. But then the jazz singer, and they've got different acts all the time, but we saw like, what was it, a trio?
Yeah, it was like a vocal trio.
Amazing.
They were great, or maybe a quartet. I don't remember how many people, but yeah, it was great. And they do they're doing like postmodern jukebox, if you're familiar with that musical act. They do these kind of retro swing or, you know, whatever, jazz inspired
modern
covers
songs.
of modern songs.
Yes. How cool was that? What if we heard like Britney Spears Toxic, but in a jazz
Lady
way.
Gaga. We heard
so cool.
we heard a bunch of stuff that you know from the radio, but done with, you know, these cool flourishes of this 20s big band or jazz or swing or.
And it's like any movie or TV show that you've seen from the 1920s. It's like being out of that.
Yeah, you really feel like you're there. I mean, we were like, they could shoot a movie in here.
They could, yes, exactly. I before we went, I had been on a Downton Abbey binge, and they had a section of that show that was like in the 20s, and they went to a speakeasy, and I was like, this really could have been shot here.
Yeah, it feels like the Great Gatsby in there.
Yeah,
it's cool. And the Edison is one of those where I think it lives up to Disney quality. You know what I mean? It's got all the makings of a top-notch entertainment experience.
Yeah, right.
In addition to having good food.
Yeah. This one, I don't think there's anything else for me that comes close in Disney Springs.
Yeah, it's a pretty. I mean, it's hard to beat. That's why I think it's been a local favorite for so long. Is because, you know, people know when the quality of the offering is there. And with the Edison, I'd go back anytime.
Yeah.
Anytime. Love it there. All right, well, there you have it. Lots of good choices for ambiance.
Yeah.
Ambiance. It's important.
It is important, right?
Don't, don't underestimate the impact it can have on shaping good memories of your family at their meal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. If you've enjoyed this episode, thank you guys so much for listening. We really appreciate it. If you would like to consume more content from us, get it consume. Because eating, my
Yes.
gosh.
You
You,
explained
you
it.
can visit
Good, good, good.
just for everybody.
You know.
So you can find us on social media at Neverland Navco on Instagram and TikTok.
Yes, right? You can, if you're not watching us on YouTube, hi YouTube,
Mm.
you can find us on YouTube, Neverland Navigation Co.
Right. And if you're listening on a podcast platform, please make sure to subscribe to our to our podcast, and leave us a review and let
Right?
us know what you've enjoyed about listening to the episode so far.
Right. And if you are watching us on YouTube, if you could please like and subscribe. And if you want to listen to other podcasts of ours, then we are Neverland Navigation Radio.
Absolutely. Well, hey, thanks so much for joining us. And until next time, we'll see you on our next adventure. Bye.